Dale.
Did we not have sound that
No,
whole
we
time?
didn't have sound.
No sound?
No sound.
Now we do. Did somebody tell you about it?
Yeah. Somebody. Now Shannon.
Thanks, guys.
I was thinking about Shannon today. I'll tell you why in a minute. But what I was saying, what they didn't get to hear was that I'm just so grateful for all the reading you've done for us.
Oh, yeah, but you don't have to worry about it.
I'm not worried about it. I'm just grateful.
I'm happy to do it.
I think you've done like so much for us. You've read an incredible amount of material. It's
And
an
I'll
amazing
do it again.
amount. Well, I'm just really grateful. And I just want you to know that, look, everyone's here. We got pals all over here. We got Hanada is here, and Deanna is here, and Bobo is here, and Delicate is here, and Shannon is here, and who have I missed? Anyway, Feldbaumling is here. If I've missed you, I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody.
Hopefully I'll pick you up if I did. I was thinking about Shannon earlier just because like I think she's ultimately not only paid me like the best compliment maybe I've ever gotten as a writer, but like also like
What was it?
found a way to define me as a writer in ways that I never really imagined. She compared me to this writer whose name escapes me because I'm foolish and names escape me, but sent me a short story via the email, and it was great. Like it was amazing. It was just a really beautifully written piece or whatever, really great. And then went on to tell me that why she thought of him when it came to my writing is because I have the ability to make people feel something. Am I blurry now? I have the ability to make people feel something without like telling them how to feel it.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I think that's how she put it. Yeah, Stig Daggerman. Anyway, it's just that just hits hard. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. All right, listen. We got a lot of shit to get to, so we should just jump in, right?
Yes.
We do have reviews, and I'm excited for these reviews. Let me ask you something. I know we have Miss Americana to do, and I know that we have Eddington to do, and I know that we have Music Box Jeff Buckley to do. Is there anything else?
No.
There's no series?
Can I ask you a technical question?
Yeah.
If I scoot this camera over, does that mess up your whole thing?
Yeah, don't scoot the camera.
Okay.
Our camera?
Yes.
That's pointed at you?
Yeah.
It must remain where it is.
We tripped over our gear today on the way to the printer here in our office.
Yeah.
And Dale set it up again, but now the tripod is right in my eye line with you, so I'm like trying to figure out whether I can.
Well, it's a funny thing when
I'll fix it tomorrow.
I'll fix it tomorrow. Erica is here. Oh man, it's good to see you guys.
Everybody.
All right, so let's just start with then. Well, do you want to start with Jeff Buckley? You want to start with Jeff Buckley?
Well, the first one that we watched was Taylor Swift, and it gave me I had a hankering for a double feature, so then we watched Jeff Buckley's.
That's true. So we'll just start with Taylor Swift then.
Yeah.
We watched Miss Americana, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved every minute of it.
But you're a big fan. So is that why you loved it, or did you love the filmmaking?
No, I love the filmmaking. I loved the filmmaking very much. I thought the filmmaking was so like spot on. It was ridiculous. I got teared up. I got teared up, like genuinely teared up, and in ways where I was just like I was swept up into the piece emotionally. I do think she's great. I think she's really fucking great. I think she's one of the best of them all, and I just hope that she holds up to that accolade as her career continues and her life continues. I hope that there's never any skeletons that come out that make it any different, because everything she holds together so well, in life. Great story, great parents, great like that. Just the whole thing is really quite moving. She's like, it's just I don't know. There's just so much there. So I loved the movie though. I loved the filmmaking. I thought it was like I love rock docs. I love them. And just music documentaries. And this one like ranks up with some of the best I've seen, because the ones that I love the most, they really get me like you feel something intimate with the band, with the artist when you're done,
mm-hmm.
but not without the barriers that are innately between you. Do you know what I mean? So there's still that like it's Bon Scott, but I know him a little bit now,
Did you feel that way with this one?
And I did, yeah. I felt that about her whole, like, just, and the relationship between her and her dad. And just like, I thought it was a fucking well-made documentary. I thought that she did herself an incredible service by creating it. I think she has this exquisite way of sharing her life with her fans. Probably better than I think any artist ever has before. I think she knows her fans better than any. It's a funny thing because I've always said this about Leo. I don't think Leo really knows his fans. I actually talk to them. I've talked to them for decades.
Yeah, because he can't get close to most of these people. They're rabid for him.
But Taylor Swift, man, she knows her fans.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows them as well as you might know one of your best friends, it seems. So and I love her intuition. Her intuition was on display. But my favorite thing in any music doc is watching the creative process.
Yeah.
And watching her creative process was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was super inspiring, but it was also in a lot of ways like exciting because I go through similar things when I'm creating. And so like it's just like the whole like
you and Taylor Swift, you're twinsies.
Certainly not. No, not
I mean,
comparing the work by any means.
I've seen you in the
process.
In your creative flow. For most of our relationship, you've been somewhat stifled by your circumstances. You're always too busy, too stressed out, without the opportunity to really flex your creative muscles. But the few times that I have seen you really flourish and thrive creatively, you do. Your process is a lot like hers, where you just sort of like. I think the storytelling and
I riff.
I think storytelling and songwriting are so similar in the way that the artists describe how it comes to them, how it comes like it like basically it just like shoots down the tube like the water slide straight into your brain. Like it comes fully formed.
I described it as like, you're sitting there and like you're out there and like pulling on these these doors to the ether, these accesses, and like it's not easy to get them open, and as you're pulling on them, that's all the ideas you're bouncing at it. You're like, come on, open up, I need this.
Great.
So you just throw these things at it, but it's almost like it's pulling this door open, and then once it's like you're at a door and there's somebody behind it, a doorman, and you got to give them the fucking password.
Yeah.
And that password is you getting it close enough to where the door can open and the message can be received. Like I think there's an ultimate. There's this one moment where she just goes into this like this lyrical riff that is just fucking perfect, and the cut is exactly how I would have done it as a filmmaker myself. Like I can actually prove it if I could show a video of this thing we did that wasn't great technically, but creatively really really cool, of this young singer that we followed in this sort of corporate
I love that
event.
bit. Yeah.
It's a great little bit, and it shows like what I'm talking about when she's going from this moment where she's just riffing on her lyrics and figuring them out right on the spot, and then how that carries over to being like sung to like 75,000 fans, in a sold out fucking stadium. There was a sadness to it that was unmistakable and profound. It was interesting to like see her deal with the compromise, sort of the devil in her deal. Which is that, she talked about how her life is 2 years planned, that like her spontaneity is gone. Like there's, that was sad to me. I was like, that hit hard for me, actually. I was like, damn, man, fuck. Like no up and go. And she does have up and go. And, you could tell, like, I mean, the coolest thing about it was that there was this moment where she felt the sadness or the gap that created in her life. But it looked as though like almost as instantly she was healed by the greatness that is her life. Like it was like this is the thing that I think I appreciate most about her, is that I feel like, and I felt like this came through well in the documentary, is that I feel like she understands where she is and where she came from and how they commingle. She like all her close friends still very close to her, kind of Adam Sandler-esque in this way, right? Mm-hmm. Adam Sandler, known in Hollywood for his loyalty to his past and his generosity to his present, and just how he's carried himself so impeccably, through such an outstanding career. So
yeah, it's a shame those people are so unique that they stand out.
So it's like 4.5 for me easily. It was like a slam dunk easy 4.5. Tiny Pineapples. I'd give her 5 if I could, but it's just not in me to call it perfect. It's just damn close to perfect. And I really, really fucking enjoyed it. I could have watched it again. That's why I think I love rock documentaries, is because you can fucking turn the record. You can just put them back on again.
Mm-hmm. 4.5 tiny pineapples.
That's mine. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Beautifully ripened pineapples.
I think I would give it like a 3.5 tiny pineapples.
Oh, wow. All right.
I really liked I thought the filmmaking was great. And I thought how they like managed to put together such a broad storyline, because she's achieved so much and done so much and had so many different like iterations of her artistry, and they've managed to sew that all together really well. So I thought the filmmaking was really great. I wish that they had done more, like you were talking about how her creative process was filmed in Miss Americana.
Yeah.
I thought it was really incredible that she can just collaborate with various producers and feel at home with all the, like, I feel like it, for these people to like show up and make an album with a different producer every time, or like one song here, one song there with a different person, it must feel like a blind date, you know? Like, I can't imagine that they're not creatively stifled. But it's just really great that these are like top tier creatives and they know how to gel, you know, from experience.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that there was more content about her songwriting, like how she crafts it. Like, is there a way that she could explain how she does it? Like, that would be neat.
I wonder what you mean, but I think that's like so hard a question to answer.
I'm just curious.
You know, it's a wonderful curiosity. The question though, it just poses such difficulty because, you know, it's music, and she's running on pretty much like basic changes.
Yeah.
You know, so she's not
right.
She's using pop changes, so she's not doing anything kind of like crazy there. I don't know.
I thought it was very cool. I'm not giving it more stars just because I don't think it's made for me. Like, I don't think I was the audience for it. I kind of just checked out a little, just because I admire her work, but you know, I don't know.
Well, I fucking loved it. To me, it was a smash. It was an absolute smash.
Oh, what I did also like that you touched on how like the pitfalls of fame, that was really well described in there. I thought they did a really good job of organizing the story of like how she consistently goes through challenges of fame. One thing that's really interesting about Taylor Swift's astrology chart is that she has extraordinarily fortunate placements where she has in Cancer in her 9th house, which is a house that sort of one of the many topics that the 9th house covers is global notoriety, like fame. It's like, if you think about like the sun at noon, and then it goes into afternoon, the sun is the brightest in the hours afternoon.
Yes.
And that is where the sun is in your chart when it goes into the 9th house. So that's where it's traditionally, the ancients thought it was the joy of the sun, where it's like, that's where your celebrity can shine. So she has Jupiter in its sign of exaltation and the moon in its sign of its domicile. 2 of the fortune placements in the most fortunate placement.
That's some good. That's some
it's
good
really
astrology.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, that's some good astrology.
But what's really interesting about Jupiter, mythologically, Jupiter was constantly targeted for attack. So you can see that play out in her documentary about how every time that she reached some pinnacle of fame, she was under attack by one person or another. And Jupiter is very protective, so you're never going to fall to these attacks, but you're going to get them. It's like arrows constantly get shot at you, but you've got a good shield, you know?
Yeah, well, her fallout was the whole like backlash thing was wild. It was pretty wild because it's a lot to go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a lot to go through. It's I think at that point, I think that was right around when you turned to me and said, "How can anyone fucking believe that she would turn her back on Blake Lively?"
Yeah, not a chance.
Like, we're sitting there watching her go through the exact same fucking thing.
Well, it's today we learned that that's not a coincidence. I want to share with you an article about they have determined that it was a smear campaign that targeted Taylor after her album came out.
Do you want to just get into it? No, we'll save that. We'll go through our reviews. Yeah, so, okay. Fucking 3.5 for Miss Americana. You guys have probably already seen it. We're the ones super late to the party.
I know, it's old news, right?
2020, yeah.
I know.
But
on Disney Plus, I know she has like a documentary series on her Eras tour, and we don't have that streaming service.
On Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen it. We got to catch up.
Yeah. You know, Disney Plus, it is what it is. Okay, great. So, congratulations, Taylor Swift. What a fucking great thing. I hope she makes another one. I'll totally watch it. Next we have Oh, well, we did the Buckley thing, right? So
yeah, after this Taylor Swift documentary, I love a double feature. I'm a fiend for double features, especially if they're well curated. So seldom do I want to just watch a movie and not like, it's like when you go to the bar and you're like, I'm just gonna have one drink.
Yeah.
You don't just have one drink. And that's how I am with movies. So as soon as that music documentary was over, I was like, oh, let's put on another music documentary. And I picked for us, It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley is a documentary.
Yes, which is it's a series called Music Box.
No.
Yeah.
Nope, you're looking at a different documentary. This one is called It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that it is. I mean,
do you want to look up that title and you'll see the director makes a bunch of other music documentaries. She did one on Janis Joplin. She's also a narrative filmmaker too. I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah, it's HBO Max called it's called Music Box. It's a series and it's called It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley.
Oh, what are the other series then?
They have a bunch of them, but
is it by the same director?
Amy Berg?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's called Music Box.
Cool.
It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley, which you can find on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so do you want to go with it? Yeah, start.
I thought I didn't like it. I thought it was a mess. I really recommend it just because if you guys don't know who Jeff Buckley was, such a shining light for such a small period of time, but he was intensely influential in the entire music business. So the documentary does a really good job of explaining that. But everybody should know who this is and listen to his records because he's just phenomenal. He's one of the best artists that
record, as it were. But yeah,
I thought he had a couple.
Did he? Maybe you're right. Maybe he has one other. Maybe there's a posthumous one.
I really recommend it just because everybody should learn all things Jeff Buckley. I did, and I learned a lot about his father. Tim Buckley was a musician, and I knew that before, but I didn't know about his family story. And then we also learned more about his Jeff Buckley's early demise, and also how he shaped his artistry, which is just, it was brilliant. But the directing, I had a huge problem with the directing. I thought the documentary overall was a mess. And I just, I'm sure she's very talented. I don't know why she made some of the choices that she made. It just seemed really scattered. They did a lot of these animation breaks, which would have like music in the background, but all this like hand-drawn animation, which I guess was based on his, but it just seemed like unprompted that it would show up. So that was a little bit like, oh, we're doing this now. I'm not sure. It didn't really fit for me. So I think I would give it like a 3. But I recommend it.
Yeah, well, 3 I think is 3 out of 5 is, I think, recommended stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, here's what I loved about it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all the information. Like she dug it up. She did the work.
Yeah.
It's a good doc. It's got great interviews with all all the key people.
That's true.
Her mom, his lover, pretty much like all the key people that were living seemed to show up for this documentary.
Her mom?
Sorry, his mother.
Yeah. Come here.
His mother, which was somebody oddly I used to think about all the time. Ever since his death was announced, I couldn't get her out of my mind. I didn't know who she was. I didn't even know what she looked like. This was the first time I ever saw what she looked like. But I swear, since his death, periodically, certainly every year, and I don't know how many times per year, I would think about that woman. Every time I would listen to Jeff Buckley, I would think about Jeff Buckley's mother.
It's very sad.
It's like, there have been other artists, obviously, that have died young, and I never thought about their mothers. I had no reason to think about this man's mother, but for some reason, I just did. I thought about it. I thought about her constantly.
Well, now you can get to know her.
Well, no, not really. Well, I guess, yeah, a little bit in the documentary. So the things I loved about it, had great interviews. Amy Berg did a great job bringing the information out of them. Mm-hmm. She tells a complete story.
I agree.
You get to know everything that you can really need to know about Jeff Buckley and what led to his early demise. I think that I don't know that Amy Berg understood the movie yet, and I think she still had to put it out. I don't know if she understood the movie, and I think that was some of the trouble I had with it, where it was like hey, why did you do that montage? That really didn't seem to have anything to do with anything else.
A lot of that, yeah.
That was going on in the movie. So there was a couple of these things where I was like, from a directorial perspective, I'm like, hey man, that was a different idea. Maybe you could have thought that through a little longer. Maybe a producer could have stepped in and went, hey, Amy, let's have a double frap and have a chat. So
a double frap and a chat.
So, you know, like it had its troubles in that regard. But I was moved very much by the story. I learned more about Jeff Buckley than I've ever known about him, including, like you said, his father, Tim. One of the things that I loved the most about the documentary, about Jeff Buckley, was how she was able to show us how his influences came together. And it's just, this is a big thing for me because it goes into the next movie we're gonna talk about, which is Eddington. It goes into this because for me, the way that you work with your influences, or the way in which the influences, or the artists that have influenced you most as an artist, the way that is conveyed in your work, to me, says a lot about you as an artist. The depth in which it's ingrained in you says a lot, because it means that it wasn't that you put so much thought into being or emulating your influences, but rather that your influences are deeply embedded in you, or kind of running the machine. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was Jeff Buckley taking, you know, Nina Simone and these other amazing influences that I'm not even going to tell you about. I do hope you do check out the documentary if you have HBO Max. I totally think it's worth it 100%.
I think that part was neat about his influences.
I loved that so much.
Because he was so unique. Everybody was like, how'd you learn to do that?
Right.
And he was like, Judy Garland.
Yeah, Judy Garland, one of them.
Incredible.
So, yeah, so and Judy Garland and it's so interesting because she's come up in another book that I'm reading by James Hillman called The Soul's Code, which I just fucking love. And I'm gonna tell you guys about it when it's done. Absolutely love this book, and I'm savoring it. I'm just taking it like 10, 12 pages at a time because I think about it. It's written by a psychologist, an archetypal psychologist. It's fucking interesting as hell. Anyway, I don't want to digress too much here. I thought I'm going to give this one a 3.5 with a highly recommend C. I did think that the director had a few missteps along the way. I think there's a lot of the story that makes it, I think it's a weird thing, man. The documentary, will I say that on the other hand, Jeff Buckley was kind of an oddity and weird, and things didn't kind of move as smoothly as you might hope for somebody who could sing like that. I don't know how else to put it, but you know, maybe in some way there's like a deeper connection to the subject than I can even recognize. Mm. So I won't you know, take that away from her. But good job nonetheless. Jeff Buckley is just worth knowing about. That Grace album is in my veins, and it has been since the first day I heard it.
How many tiny pineapples do you
I'm going to give it 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 tiny pineapples. Which brings us to Eddington. Eddington. Starring Joaquin Phoenix he's one of the great living actors. Mm-hmm. He's one of the great living actors. He embodies the role he plays, and they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different. Yeah.
They're all different. He's remarkably talented. I'm always reminded of his talent, but it's with Eddington that I am now sure of where he belongs, which is in a conversation with the greats. He is a truly great actor, and he is remarkable in this movie. This is Ari Aster's movie that was recommended by many, including John Waters, who said that what are we if we don't like it?
Oh, John Waters said that it was the best movie of 2025, and that if you don't like Eddington, I hate you.
Yeah, so which breaks my heart because I do, and it's not that I don't like Eddington, so I don't want to give any spoilers on my review just yet.
I just love how he's like unapologetically sassy, like he doesn't give a fuck.
Listen, one of the greatest
John
moments.
Waters is so wonderful.
One of the greatest moments in my life, which I toned down a little bit in the book, but one of the greatest moments in my life was up at Slum Dance, and John Waters walks in sweepingly I'm telling you, the arm up, like he had the arm up. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but
like he's got a martini glass in there.
yeah. He had, oh, sorry. He had the arm up like this, and he's like, and he just sweeps in John Waters. He just absolutely just sweeps in, and he's like, oh, and he's got this entourage behind him. The entourage is just all like, it's one photographer and a photographer's assistant who's got a bounce board.
to bounce the light up.
Yeah, it's got a bounce, and it's got negative fill as well. And on the other side, one of them flip boards, it's like negative fill this side, bounce board the other side. And they're sweeping through because our little festival called Slum Dance had gotten this crazy reputation. We had these orange, we in Canada would call them toques. We had these orange beanies with happy faces on them that just became like the craving of the festival. I got an offer of $500 for my hat, which I did not take, and I was broke. And I was like, no, this is my fucking hat.
We should just recreate those.
I got something we can't recreate. They were a part of a moment.
Yeah,
they're a moment in time, so they were just absolutely
perfect. They can be
perfect.
part of a new moment in time.
John Waters sweeps in. And he's like taking photographs. He's using it as a photo op because he's there being honored for Pink Flamingo. It was like
at Sundance.
Yeah, at Sundance for the 25th, I think I want to say, something like that, of Pink Flamingo. And at the same time, they're testing Don's Plum on the main theater screen for the later screening. And so he's getting these photographs, and there's this, and it's behind him, and he doesn't know. And then the photographer's like this, and he's doing his like poses or whatever, and he's being sassy, and then he turns and he sees Don's Plum, and he goes, "What the hell is that?" And it's like, it's my movie, man. I'm like standing there like in awe of the man, but I'm not saying anything. And then Brian Fleming, who was the director or the guy running the festival, he's like, "Oh, that's the the film that's closing the festival called Don's Plum. Get it off, get it off." He didn't want to hear it.
He wanted it off because he didn't want it in the background of his photo shoot.
Yeah.
Did he say so?
It was absolutely crushing, but it was crushing in a great way, because I was like, oh well, I still had him chase my movie off of a screen, and that's still fucking great.
It's really funny.
Oh my goodness. Eddington. Well, okay, Eddington. So the thing about Ari Aster and why I was talking about influences and the way in which we see our influences coming through on our work and how that says a lot about you as an artist. For me, Ari Aster, though obviously incredibly talented, writes really cool characters, does really cool things with those characters. He writes cool ideas and scenarios. One of his movies is a movie people can't get enough of, Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like a big flippin' deal in Hollywood and among film fans. For me, he's kind of a miss as a director. And I don't mean this in any kind of like way that it should be in any way insulting to him if he ever were to care about an opinion like mine. Because he's obviously incredibly talented. But for me, he kind of wears his influences on his sleeve. I guess that's how I'll put it. I just feel like I can see his influences playing out in front of me.
Yeah, you had this criticism of Hereditary too.
As soon as I walked out of the theater, yeah.
I told you somebody said it was really original and you like scoffed.
I think I was offended. It was not, so this was another movie where I felt like it's a guy who's figured out how to be able to like project his influences on the page and then eventually onto the screen. He does that well enough to where he's able to get his following. A good example of what I mean in terms of like a contrary like view of a similar kind of filmmaker, not in any way to compare them, but for this simple example of how they kind of repurpose the past. Mm-hmm. That's Quentin Tarantino, right? Like that guy, openly talked about how his influences and how he's kind of repurposed them in his style. And he's done it in a way that is unmistakably his, right? And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to, the importance of, to me, allowing your influences to kind of live and breathe within you and not outwardly on your work. And then let them be expressed mm-hmm. through your lens, as opposed to kind of like, how would you do this? And when I'm working with writers, I go through this. I'm like, because sometimes I see it. Like, it'll be like, wow, is this? You're like, yeah. And they're like, what would happen if we didn't try to be like that. And, you know, we try to find where that influence is expressed originally in this, like uniquely in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Like elevate and innovate instead of copy. Right.
What I loved about it, Joaquin Phoenix. I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I could watch it again just to watch that performance. I really thought it was absolutely fucking brilliant. I felt like it was a very different performance. So measured, so smart. I just don't think he missed a moment. Maybe one. I thought Pedro was fine. I was not bowled over by his work at all in the movie, but I thought he did a really fine performance. He went toe to toe with Joaquin quite well. It was really great to see him. It was lovely to see him. Actually, I was slightly apprehensive because of my past relationship with him and how that might interfere with me just enjoying the movie.
Yeah, right.
And
it is really distracting where you're like watching a movie. You're like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, and I really, really care for him. And so, it was distracting, and I haven't really followed his success because of that. I think I have some kind of PTSD around that. I need to get over it. That's obviously about Leo and Toby and all the rest of the guys. And, sometimes.
Yeah, your closest friends in Hollywood betraying you.
Yeah, and I would watch movies and I'd be like, it would be like Vonnie Ribisi. That's why when Mr. Hands was here yesterday, I said, this guy fucking knows me. Because Vonnie was a little mini heartbreak for me.
Yeah.
For example. So whenever that guy, for example, because he's that guy in movies, I refer to that guy in movies as, the guy that, you say, oh, fuck, it's that guy, is. You don't necessarily know his name. Well, anyway, I digress. Pedro Pascal, fucking great. But again, I can't wait to see him really take a meaty role. Emma Stone, the rest of the cast, really great. I thought it was a pretty well directed story. At times, it gets really zany and crazy and fun. I highly recommend it. I'm giving it. I'm going to give it a 4 of tiny pineapples. I don't want to. I want it to be less.
Why?
But I don't want to give it 3.5.
So why are you giving it 4?
Because I want to be generous, because Joaquin Phoenix's performance to me is worth every moment in the movie. So I wouldn't miss it for that alone.
Yeah.
Even if, this director just does too much.
This was my criticism about it. Ari Aster has really clever ideas, but they're so crammed together. I mean, it was like a 2.5-hour movie or something, right?
Mm.
And it could have been like 3 movies. Like he could have made like a trilogy of this. I enjoy all the genre of modern Western. Every single one of these movies that I've seen, I've just absolutely delighted in.
Mm-hmm.
This one was no different, but he's just doing too much. Like, so every single thing that Ari Aster introduces, which is interesting and cool and you haven't seen on movies before, he has to drop it so fast because he's moving on to the next very cool thing that he came up with. And it's just like, it really does, it prohibits you from really sinking in and enjoying any of his really, really cool ideas and watching them develop.
Interesting.
Like he had a lot of really amazing character nuances, right? Like people just change instead of arc in his movies. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And so it's really enjoyable. It's very entertaining, but it kind of leaves you feeling like you didn't really like maybe it was missing a little seasoning. I don't know.
Well put.
I really enjoy the filmmaking. I guess my biggest criticism is that it was doing too much. Also, the film is set in like rural New Mexico in 2020, and it's true to our world, right? So there was the COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. There was like really intense like conspiracy theorizing happening online that was turning people into like total cuckoo brains. Yeah. And then there was also the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests that were like really igniting everywhere. And so those things were featured in the film, but I felt like what was really cool about what Ari Aster did with this movie is that if you were like COVID cautious, or you thought that the whole thing was like a scam and that everybody was being too cautious, he's speaking to you regardless of which side you're on.
That's pretty neat.
Like I feel like everybody on both sides of everything that he's framing for you are both really like really flawed, right? So like if you're on one side, you'll be like, yeah, that other side is full of a bunch of jerks. And if you're on the other side, you're like, look at those idiots. I thought he did that really expertly. I feel like that's a really difficult thing to pull off, and he did. But one thing where I felt like he was really imbalanced was when he was talking about when he was showing the protesters. So he would have a bunch of like young Gen Z kids protesting in the middle of the street in this like rural New Mexico town where none of these events actually affect them. And they're really earnest and they feel very passionately about the injustices that are going on in the nation. And he's making fun of them. So Ari Aster is like very clearly making fun of them the whole time. And he's doing it so much and so repeatedly. Like there were literally 2 scenes that were the exact same scene where this blonde, white Gen Z girl is telling a cop who's black, you should be joining us. And they're 2 identical scenes that happen in that movie. And I was like, cool, you're like kind of beating a dead horse about this. So that was a criticism that I had. But I really like the turn, like the twist. It's an Ari Aster movie, so you can imagine the whole time it gets dark. And the first half of the movie, I'm like, what is going to happen here? Because obviously, like, I'm expecting this guy to go like super dark and gory, and he does. So that was good. I don't know. I think overall, I just feel like it was so crammed and it was kind of a mess. And I don't know whether he's one of my favorite filmmakers for that reason. I feel like a lot of his ideas are really well crafted, but they're not cohesive.
Yeah.
So maybe I would give it a 3. Tiny pineapples.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Part of the reason why I give it 4, by the way, is because I'm of the like I really want to encourage as much as possible non-Marvel movies, especially movies that are attempting to be original.
Yeah, one thing that it gets like super big points for is that I haven't seen another movie that's actually talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. Honestly, that was the first one that I'd ever seen.
He did do a really great take on it. So, he did a great take on the divisiveness
that's really brave.
Of it.
Like there's one guy in Hollywood who's not going to get told no by the studios when he wants to make a COVID-19 movie. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
It's a perfect way to tell it too, to do like a modern Western take on it, because all of the greatest Western movies are about like the struggle between life and death, because you're living in these like really harsh climates, you know? Yeah. Everything is always like the stakes are super high all the time. And there's always like some crime. And it's just, there are always incredible stories. So it's a perfect framework to sort of delve into this sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
It was a good movie. I don't regret seeing it. That's for damn sure. And I do recommend it again, just because I thought that, you know, yeah, Joaquin should be. I'm really surprised he wasn't nominated for a Globe.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I think it's because
maybe he's too weird.
I think like people have compared Eddington to One Battle After Another.
Because they're both long ass movies.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're like crime westerns.
And because they got, you know, big guns.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's it. You know, maybe they
it'd make a good double feature if you had like 6 hours to spend.
6 hours to just watch the world get blown up around you.
Yeah.
Anyway, those were good things. Pretty much. I think everything was good. It wasn't like a smash like last week, but it was really good. Are we watching anything new right now that we should tell anyone about? No. Oh, well, we're going to get caught up in Succession. Sure we are. We're going to pound Succession right into these veins because it is good. We're in season 1. If you haven't watched Succession and you want to get into it with us, we're doing it right now. We're on season 1, about midway through season 1. I mean, it's just fire, as they say.
It's because when we watched Death by Lightning, we discovered our new favorite actor. What's his name? Did I get it wrong?
Oh, yeah, that fucking guy.
Is it Michael McFadden or Matthew McFadden?
God damn it. Let me just
McFadden. That's his name. McFadden.
Michael
or Matthew? I can't get it right. I'm sure he's used to this. I'm sure this happens to him all the time.
It's a bad name. It really is just,
what do you mean?
It's a bad name,
Michael
Angela.
or Matthew?
If we ever meet the guy, I'm going to be like, "How you doing? Your name is bad." You know, why didn't you Marilyn Monroe that shit?
I didn't realize that he's had like this massive career before I discovered him. Like he's been in all these really period romance movies and dramas, period films, and I've just never watched those. So the guy's been under my radar.
Isn't Death by Lightning such a cool name for a series?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. What's his name?
I'm getting it.
Get it faster.
His name is Matthew.
Matthew
McFadden.
McFadden.
No, it's McFadden. Fadyen. You want to go yen because you want yen.
I had to watch him get interviewed on one of these late night talk show hosts to figure out his pronunciation, because they're not going to fuck that up. They get told how to pronounce a name.
Well, obviously, these guys missed this year's deadline for the Golden Globes because there's no fucking way this thing's getting overlooked.
Yeah, right.
There's no fucking way. I mean,
Succession?
This is no. Succession.
Death by Lightning.
Death by Lightning. It's never going to be overlooked.
Anyway, the same actor from Death by Lightning is in Succession, so that's why I put it on for us.
The guy who created that one is Mike Makowski. Oh, he's a young dude. God. I feel so old.
Should we move on? I want to tell you the super salacious story that just...
So, we were talking about Taylor Swift.
This story just broke, and I cannot believe... Well, I can believe it because, oh my God, we've been slogging through the mud of a real-time smear campaign. It's just crazy. Here is an article from The Guardian that summarizes it really well. So I thought I would just read it to you. This is by Laura Snapes at The Guardian, published today. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
Titled, Coordinated Online Attack Sought to Suggest Taylor Swift Promoted Nazi Ideas, Research Finds. Thousands of social media posts were traced to deliberate attempts to misrepresent the singer and showed significant user overlap with the campaign to attack actor Blake Lively. Are you listening?
I am, yeah.
Analysis has found that the coordinated online attack sought to align Taylor Swift and her latest album, The Life of a Showgirl, with Nazi and right-wing imagery and values, from accounts feigning leftist critique and designed to encourage outrage. The AI-driven behavioral intelligence platform Gudea produced a report examining more than 24,000 posts and 18,000 accounts across 14 social media platforms between October 4th, the day of the album's release, and October 18th. These posts accuse Taylor Swift of sowing dog whistle references in her lyrics and alleging that a necklace that is made, it's like a charm necklace with a bunch of lightning bolts on it, which is from her merchandise line, which is a reference to the album's track Opalite. They said that the little lightning bolts resembled SS insignia.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, I know where they're going.
The report concluded that 3.77% of accounts drove 28% of the discussion of Swift in that period that was studied.
That's insane.
Chiefly conspiracy theories that also made allegations about her supposed ties to the MAGA movement and criticisms framing her engagement to American football player Travis Kelce as trad or conservative. In a spike that took place between 6th and 7th of October. 35% of the posts in the dataset came from bot-like accounts. Gudea said that while they didn't uncover the identity of those responsible, they did find, in quotes, a significant user overlap between accounts pushing the Taylor Swift Nazi narrative and those active in separate AstroTurf campaign against Blake Lively.
Wow. They're trying to destroy all of them.
Yes.
They have a mandate. They've been carrying out that mandate in the last to this minute.
The firm Gudea, the data says it in quotes reveals a cross-event amplification network, one that disproportionately influences multiple celebrity-driven controversy and injects misinformation into otherwise organic conversations. The allegations about Swift were initially disseminated on more niche online spaces such as 4chan. And this is what we just read yesterday.
Yes.
That Jed Wallace was talking about how they work 4chan and all these like smaller social medias. And then they will grab anything where they can find that they don't have great moderation so that they can just talk shit, whatever, and then they'll take those and then they'll seed it onto these other platforms. More niche online spaces such as 4chan and then migrated to mainstream social media apps and were then unwittingly spread by the public and algorithms. The researchers wrote, in quotes, the false narrative that Taylor Swift was using Nazi symbolism did not remain confined to fringe conspiratorial spaces. It successfully pulled typical users into comparisons between Taylor Swift and Kanye West, of all people.
Can you fucking believe that?
This demonstrates how a strategically seeded falsehood can convert into widespread, authentic discourse, reshaping public perception even when most users do not believe the original claim. Even getting the public to disagree with the allegations constituted a success for the people behind the attack. Gudea founder and CEO Keith Presley told Rolling Stone, in quotes, that's part of the goal for these types of narratives, for whoever is pushing them, especially with these inflammatory ones. That's going to get rewarded by the algorithm. You'll see the influencers jump on first because it's going to get them clicks. Nonetheless, some critics did question some of the values, apparently on Show in the Life of a Showgirl, pointing out that the song Cancelled, in which Swift welcomes social pariahs into her world, having experienced widespread backlash herself in 2015, could happily be sung by any bad actor who's experienced consequences as a result of harmful behavior. This was really interesting to me because I do remember people being like, why is she, she's a person, they were criticizing Cancelled because they didn't know it was about Blake Lively. So they were thinking that she was just making excuses for bad people. You know, like people who get called out for,
yeah, like she's Donald Trump pardoning the world.
Right. But it makes so much sense when you know that she was talking specifically about Blake Lively and her situation of being falsely accused. Isn't that interesting?
It's phenomenally interesting. It's terrible. It's so terrible. I mean, it's really terrifying that we live in a world where this is what people with money do.
Yes, but it's marvelous that people who with money who are being attacked can have the story straightened out. I mean, I wonder whether this data...
See if Taylor does something about it.
Yeah, well, who knows who's financed this study, you know? Because it might be that she's like, you guys got to figure out who... This
might be Taylor propaganda herself, you know what I'm saying? Like
no, not propaganda. I mean, like if you can fund...
Leaked story, blah, 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 whatever.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
I'm saying like if she can fund a data research firm to figure out what the deal is, then you publicize that. Now, I mean, I don't think for a second that what we're reading is being spun. I think that this is the truth of what happened.
Deanna and Conley DiCaprio are here.
Oh, wonderful.
And did I say something? Oh no, I missed.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to have more to say about that.
Well, I don't know what more to say about it. I mean, it's just like the writing's on the wall. These people are being attacked. These people are being attacked by. We know who the source is. We know who wants them. And I do find it very interesting. Delicate wrote, the mandate is from Scooter since 2016, and I really think that you're probably right about that. I think that Scooter could have very easily identified the opportunity as it unfolded. Remember, Scooter was in with Baldoni in Men Enough podcasts before It Ends With Us was shot.
Yep.
So Scooter and fucking...
He had a roundtable discussing Me Too. With his with a select group of a few men.
It was cringe.
And Scooter Braun was one of them.
It was cringe.
I couldn't
believe They were fucking eating.
I know, they were eating. They were like, anyway, pass the mashed potatoes. So these women, they're scared for their lives, right?
Yeah, because of men. Stacy's here. So yes, I am shocked. I'm not shocked. How can I be shocked? What can I say about it beyond the fact that we know that these people have been targets, that people like that they're using people like Andy Signor and other outlets and individuals to, at least that's the allegation, right? To carry out these smear campaigns, and they're doing them relentlessly, and sadly, so many people are willing to or are susceptible to falling for these traps. Lee is here. Ooh, yeah. So it's sad as fuck. And it's upsetting as fuck. Fortunately, Taylor Swift is well equipped for something like this.
I mean,
for those of us who aren't,
I feel so bad for her. See, this was my first time around because she wasn't really on my radar. Like I hadn't really listened to her music until you became a fan. And then this new album dropped. So this is the first time I've really been noticing what it's like for her to release an album and get like instant backlash. And she spoke about it, you know, she's like basically sharing words of wisdom about like, first of all, it's but anytime people are talking about you, it's a good thing, whether it's bad or not. But also, you know, she just stays away.
Her backlash, it was the fastest selling album in history.
That's what I mean. I know. So you're right. She deals with it well, but it's like, it's such a fucking drag that she has to, you know? And that's what I was saying about her astrology. It's like, she's just going to keep getting targeted. And she'll be fine, right? She'll be protected. I mean, at least according to her chart. She's very fortunate that way. But it must be exhausting. I wonder if she's ever just like, can everybody just be normal for 5 minutes? I'm just trying to be creative, if that's okay with you.
Well, look, the one thing I like about it is piss her off enough and see what happens. You know what I mean? Because, she's a billionaire too. She's a billionaire too. And we already saw what she can do. This is part of why Scoots is so pissed. Because Scoots got like smacked about the cheeks by Taylor Swift's business prowess. She took everything from him. When he tried to power play her.
I know, but what's his fucking problem?
With her own fucking work.
That's my thing.
She just got to work. She's like, you know what I like to do? Make music, and I'll remake my own. Fuck you.
Like, it's just so weak to just be continuously like, hounded by somebody who you had resolved a dispute with, Like, it's different. Like, your situation where you're like, fuck Leonardo DiCaprio till the ends of the earth. It's because your situation is not fucking resolved, You guys have not reached a mutually agreed upon, a settlement or whatever, It's just really, I just don't understand how these rich people still want to attack each other. It's fucking weird. High school shit, Well, why are you holding a grudge?
Some of it's weak. High school, some of it's not. I mean, it's just power play stuff. I mean, imagine being Scooter Braun and acquiring Taylor Swift's catalog only to have Taylor Swift go and re-record and get in the process of re-recording everything to compete directly, and where Taylor Swift has the most loyal.
Yeah, but see, you have to admire that though. You can't be pissed about something like that. Like you just got outplayed. You got outplayed, and he's a player in a game, and he got outplayed. Like he has to just.
You're not thinking like Scooter Braun though, Angela. Like, yeah,
no, I'm not a vindictive
you and I would be like
child. No,
you and I would be like, damn, killer.
Yeah,
like we're playing Survivor.
Exactly.
Scooter Braun,
it's just money. Like who gives a fuck?
Scooter Braun, he gets his little scoots in a knot because he's not going to be stood up like big business play, fucking $200 million acquisition back when he picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Cost her like $317 or whatever it was to get back. Scooter Braun. Dude, I can never respect you just because you go by Scooter.
Sit down, Scott.
Scoots.
Take a seat.
He's nothing but Scoots.
Scott.
I seriously picture a scooter every time we mention him.
Is it like a moped or one of these like dinky little rattly?
No, like a little dinky ratty scooter that you fucking propel.
That it rattles when you when you try and scoot it down the street.
When you hit a pebble, you get thrown from it.
Yeah.
Kiki's here now, and Mescalero is here.
Welcome,
I told you about Stacy. She's here. Dime Beth is back. Things are going. Listen, Celeste Rivas, grand jury. Do you ever wonder what happens if you get summoned to a grand jury and you're like, no, I'm not going to do it? Do you know what happens?
No, what happens?
You get fucking arrested, apparently.
You can't decline jury duty
on a grand jury. An uncooperative witness to be arrested and appear before the grand jury. There's trouble in the grand jury room where witnesses are testifying about a circumstances surrounding Celeste Rivas' death because at least one witness is so uncooperative she's about to be arrested.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question.
That's okay.
I thought you meant getting summoned to a grand jury.
I didn't know this shit.
Excuse me. I thought you meant that it was like a jury summons. You said the word summons, and so I thought that you're meant to sit on a grand jury. That you're a jury member.
I believe it is called a summons, but yes.
I thought you were talking about a jury member. So you're talking about if you're summoned as a witness,
probably a subpoena
to speak before a grand jury. This is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So that person said, no, I'm not gonna. And they arrested them?
They did. Yeah.
But are they fearing for their life?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
nobody knows anything except that she's about to be arrested because she's not cooperating. And I just think that's pretty fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to testify before a grand jury so much so that she's at the point of being arrested. Holy fuck, this case is going to get nutty, bro.
It's weird. That's like a really tough, that's a very interesting question about that person's civil rights. I was involved in as a witness.
She might be a material witness.
I was involved in a witness of an attempted murder in Los Angeles. And it was a drive-by shooting, and I was on the street when it happened. And I remember calling one of my neighbors was injured, and it was like this really big, horrible, traumatic thing. But I remember calling the police officers, and the whole neighborhood was really up in arms because they knew exactly who lived on that street was involved, right? And so the police interrogated the guy, But they couldn't do anything with him because he wouldn't say who was the person who drove by and shot at him. He knew who it was, but he just wouldn't speak. And the cops were frustrated with the public because they're like, I mean, what do you want us to do? Like torture him for the information? Like we can't, if he doesn't want to tell us, we can't make him. So it's just interesting that in this case, somebody is a witness for the prosecution and they are trying to refuse giving their information and they're being charged because of it.
They're being about to be arrested, I guess, in some sort of, yeah.
That's incredible.
I was shocked by it. I was quite amazed by it. I did not know you could get arrested for not, for whatever it is. It's crazy.
Well,
the managers got spent like 3 days being, like they're closing in.
What are you talking about?
The managers of David. They spent like 3 days
his music managers
being deposed or
yeah,
testifying before the jury.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'd be like, when do you need me? I will schedule however much time you need. Just so you know, I'm not involved.
Anyway, we're going to keep our eye on that one. Do you want to get to some Jamey Heath stuff?
Yeah, sure.
So Jamey Heath.
Let's talk to the chat.
Let's do some chat and then we'll do some Jamey Heath. Taylor's on Colbert tonight.
Oh, no way.
No way. Oh, maybe we'll watch it then.
Yeah. We have to.
Yeah.
I want to know if she's talking about this.
I never watched that shit.
This dirty business that was just exposed.
What am I, fucking 15 again? Oh my God, I'm gonna watch Taylor Swift on the Late Show. It's just like what I used to do when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like.
But when you were 15, who was it? Who was the celebrity?
Oh, I don't even remember. No idea. You know what I was really when I was 15? It was mostly like I was following heavy metal.
Okay.
Which they were never on any late shows. It was like David Letterman, Judas Priest. It didn't happen.
I used to stay up late and watch 120 minutes on MTV just to see these like old grizzled metal dudes because they would have those interviews. That was a fucking great show. I wonder if they have that. Can you look it up? Do they have like old reruns of 120 minutes?
Yeah, that would be on Paramount Plus, I would imagine.
Oh, really? Because it was an MTV show.
What's it called? 120 minutes? I never even seen it, I don't think. 120 minutes.
It's one of the greatest music shows. It's just like music videos and interviews.
MTV.
But they produced the hell out of it. It was really awesome.
Streaming.
It's perfect late night TV. Before we had phones that we could like doom scroll until like 1 a.m.
There's a couple of fan run places that you can do them. There's some playlists on YouTube.
I recommend it. 5 stars.
All right. Lacey's here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Deanne is saying about this Taylor Swift news.
Yes.
Okay. Saying there's a certain odd legal creator is suggesting it was a Blake plant. And then a commenter said Ryan planted the media and it backfired. And now he's blaming Justin Baldoni. Never.
Sounds just like the kind of stupid move they'd make.
It's always mental gymnastics with these people.
It's fucking crazy.
It can't ever just be like the simple story.
You think this guy is that stupid? You think he's that fucking stupid? Listen, man. It's so funny because it's like, it certainly couldn't be the people who've been doing it all along. It wouldn't be them, How could it be them?
Can't. Deanne said that it would be interesting to compare it with the analysis done on Who Trolled Amber. Who Trolled Amber is a documentary about the smear campaign of Amber Heard before the trial, during the trial.
There's a doc called Who Trolled Amber?
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Where is it? What's it called? Who Trolled Amber?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to look that up. Oh, it's a podcast.
Oh, I think it was a documentary. Also. Wasn't it? I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I think it's a podcast.
Oh, we've got some really great music documentary recommendations in the chat. So
okay.
I saved those.
I recommend If You Want Blood, AC/DC.
Oh, that's great.
So good.
Delicate is saying the Pixies, loud, quiet, loud.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. Especially because I don't really know them that well.
And then Deanna is saying it might get loud. I recognize that, but I can't remember.
Oh.
Oh, maybe it's the Jack White, Jimmy Page, and The Edge from U2. I bet that one's good. It must be crazy to
be
like...
I saw this. This is the Jack White one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw this.
It must be so bonkers to like be at that like top tier level of like musical stardom and like musical genius. Like everybody who's in music recognizes that you're the GOAT.
Maybe I didn't see this actually.
And then to like just like, what the fuck, guys? Like, let's just form a supergroup and blow everybody's minds. You know, collaborate with the greatest. It's really funny, like, just because we were talking about Amber Heard, it just reminded me that she was, one of the things that she said about living with Johnny Depp that was really lame is that he always hangs out with all these old men, but like...
No, these old men, all they do is sit around, get high, and play guitar.
I know, but it's like Jeff Beck and Keith Richards.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Can you imagine? What?
I can't imagine being upset.
Indignant for hanging out and listening to fucking Keith Richards
to have Jeff Beck like just doodling on his guitar
Jeff Beck
in your house.
Might be the greatest rock guitarist of all time.
I know it.
Might be.
It's so funny to me. That's where sometimes the age gap in relationships kind of shows, you know, when you don't appreciate the same music.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I was in, you know, Jeff Beck precedes all of us. And, you know, I mean, Johnny Depp, maybe not. But like Jeff Beck, like I grew up hearing about him. You know, he wasn't like a guy who was sitting there like, you know, topping charts. You know, he'd been around. I mean, I think his first record was in the 60s. We're talking about Keith Richards.
Yeah.
Oh, when I saw them in 1996 or 1997 at Dodger Stadium, the Rolling Stones, this is 1997. They were so old. I was like, these guys are pretty old.
Yeah. Like they're going to stop soon.
97.
I know. And they've never stopped. Shannon was talking about the Jeff Buckley documentary. People think that Jeff Buckley is the original singer of Hallelujah because he basically owned that song.
Yeah. They are wrong.
Don't get me wrong. I love Leonard Cohen, but it's true. Jeff Buckley's was better. I kind of wish that I could hear.
It's weird. Let me tell you something about what I had a rather religious experience about this. So when I wrote my book, I listened to Cohen on a loop, especially for the first draft.
I know. And so did I, because I live here too. It was a lot.
So for the first draft, I wrote my first draft on the couch. Because I would be like, because I was super insecure. So I'd be sitting there writing my first draft and I'd be like, hey, I just finished something. Can I read it for you? Yeah. And then you'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd read it and you'd be like, that's very good, Dale. And then I'd be like, okay. And then I'd get up because not only did I listen to Leonard Cohen when I wrote the first draft, but it was all vinyl. It was all vinyl the whole time. I just listened to the vinyl. So
in our living room.
So I was getting up and and flipping the record all the time.
Yeah.
But his song, Hallelujah, when you hear the recording of it, because of Jeff Buckley owning it so much, and so many others, by the way, but certainly Jeff Buckley, he's the king of that song. It's so different. And it loses a lot of what Leonard Cohen, I think, intended for the song.
Yeah.
Like it's gone.
That's true. A lot of the covers just
when you listen to him, Cohen's version, and you like decide to like get past the fact that it sounds almost odd, and you start like figuring out like, okay, well, what's he doing? You realize like it's a profoundly amazing recording.
I think the Jeff Buckley version is the reason why people mistake it for a Christmas song because it's beautiful. But if you only had Leonard Cohen's version, no one would ever think it's a Christmas song. They'd be like, oh, this is about sex. Obviously. It's
one of the greatest songs ever written, and Leonard Cohen's version is tops in my chart.
Yeah, of course.
But Jeff Buckley I think Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah might be the best cover I've ever heard of any song. It's up there with, I think, you know, it'd be kind of toe to toe with Hurt, with Johnny Cash doing 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, that was just a song though. His album was, I think it was other covers.
I know. I'm just saying.
You're talking
covers,
about
I said of covers.
The Rick Rubin, Johnny Cash collab.
No, I'm not talking about the collaboration. I'm just talking about Johnny Depp's cover of Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt.
Top shelf
is the topest of shelves, and I think it's like between those two, like Buckley's. I don't know because you know Janis Joplin has a couple. Bobby McGee maybe. X-Lady's back. What's going on, X-Lady? How you doing? I'm glad you're here. All right.
Lacey is saying, I believe that Scooter is behind this. Scooter shows up in too many times in Taylor's life around things like this for this to be a coincidence.
Dude, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that this whole thing is a racket to siphon money out of a billionaire.
Yep.
Into their coffers while at the same time attacking the people they don't like. Like, I think this is like, it's kind of genius in its own right. Like, evil can be genius. And if Scooter Braun has architected a way to try to get back at Taylor Swift by recognizing this opportunity going down with Justin Baldoni, or even being a part of making it go sour, we don't know, because we know, we certainly know, we don't know. We can say with some level of confidence in our theory that Melissa Nathan, well, we know that she lied directly to Justin Baldoni.
Well, yeah.
We know she planted an article that Justin Baldoni and others felt was bad for Justin Baldoni.
And if Scooter Braun owns 50% of TAG.
And Scooter Braun
you don't
owns 50% of TAG.
That's a direct connection.
And Scooter Braun hates Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fucking staggering. It's staggering.
Hey, will you find out how we can watch Colbert tonight?
I'll work on that. You work on this.
Okay, cool. No Two Trolls is saying that it's been going on for a while. Even bots giving restaurants bad reviews in order to benefit the other restaurants in the town. Isn't that crazy?
This has to stop. We have to stop this. We have to find a way. This needs to be legislated. This can't happen. You can't create slander machines and not have culpability here.
Yeah, without any consequences.
This can't go on. We can't survive like this. Our society will destroy itself. You got to see, if you haven't, listen, do you have a Stephen King book that you think is like slightly obscure, that is really good, that you can think of, that you've read? It's something I'm going to ask our reading or our books. I'm considering at least posting this.
I don't know that any of them are slightly obscure.
Yeah, like people don't talk about it a lot. There definitely, I can say that's true as far as like, like our books and our books suggest me a book.
All the ones I've read have been made into movies or like
So the one I'm thinking about is one that, like, although it got made into a movie with one of my favorite actors of all time, it's still not a book people really talk about a lot, called Needful Things. But if you watch the movie, the book is fucking great and better than the movie, and the movie is really fucking great, I thought. JT Walsh is in it. I mean, he's brilliant. But in Needful Things, it kind of like, think about that. Like if you go, if you guys know what I'm talking about there, it's just like the instability of people around their greed.
Yeah, it's basically like one of those, like the monkey paw trope, where basically like you make a wish on a monkey's paw, but like, and you get your wish, but something horrible also happens.
Yeah.
So it's just like this, it's just that like that fantasy, horror trope where it's like the devil's bargain, right? Like, yeah, you'll get what you want, but there's a price. Sometimes you don't get to control what the price is.
I love that about that movie. Austin's here. Good to see you, Austin. So yes.
Shannon knows that someone said that Scooter hates Stephanie Jones because she ignited the Taylor Swift drama when he was trying to lay low. Oh, so that's interesting. So they're like warring. Maybe that's why Stephanie Jones doesn't like Melissa Nathan. What are you talking about? What's going on? My dog is being demanding.
We can watch it the next day on Paramount Plus.
Okay, great. And we will do that.
So we'll watch it tomorrow. So don't tell us, don't spoil.
I have this mic right here, and I think it just heard my burp in my throat.
Okay, well.
So I apologize to anybody who was horrified.
I can't help you. I'm busy.
Should I exile her to the other room so that she doesn't complain to you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think that's...
I don't think... My dog never barks at me. I'm nervous. What the fuck are you barking at me for? This dog never barks at me, ever. Angela's gone. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. Let me, I got interrupted. So now I'm in the chat and,
what's that?
I think so too, Dale, said Hanada. It's weird pairing with a megastar as a common denominator. I can't remember what that context is. I think Scooter's obsessed with Taylor. Yeah, I think Scooter is obsessed with Taylor. I think he got burned. And he's like, ain't no woman gonna take me down.
Who knows, man? The guy's got fucking issues. We know that much.
He got himself a trad girlfriend.
Are you saying that? Or is somebody in the chat saying that?
I'm just saying it.
What do you know about it?
Who's Sydney Sweeney?
Oh.
I'm just playing.
I don't know, man. That might be a smear campaign too.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
She came out to talk about the controversy around her ad and still didn't say anything about like not being a racist.
Yeah, I think she's being advised very badly. That's what I think is happening.
It's weird that why don't you just come out and say, I'm not a racist and I would never ever, like knowingly participate in anything that would be racist. But she didn't say that. What she said was, I love all people, or I love people, or something.
Yeah, right.
It's like my best friend is black bullshit. That's what it sounded like to me.
Anyway. Shannon Knows has requested that the dog be on camera with a microphone.
Well, I am. Angela has actually talked about. I can set up a dog cam. It's just that this room is really quite in turmoil.
Yeah,
I have wires everywhere.
And very small.
We've got it's like a set. I got a big old dome light up here. It's pretty. It's like an ugly set. The only nice parts are where the camera is pointed right now. If we point it at the dog, you're gonna be like, ooh.
When we get to 1,000 subscribers and Ryan Reynolds buys us a house,
yes,
like he has promised to,
yes,
then we will have a much nicer set to give the dog a mic and a camera.
Angela's talking about how like sometimes Baldoni fans will show up in our chat.
Yeah, and they say you're being paid by Ryan Reynolds.
And they're like, oh, these guys are obviously being paid, and we have less than 1,000 subscribers. So I always say, well, they did promise to buy us a house when we get to 1,000 subscribers. So
which is just,
we're trying really hard.
I think that's like a top tier sarcastic joke to me, because nobody would ever incentivize somebody reaching 1,000 subscribers ever.
Nothing says I don't think before I speak more than accusing us
of being
bought.
Yes.
By Blake Lively.
Because we're talking to like 20 people tops.
I guess on the other hand, it's kind of complimentary, because they must watch it and be like, this person obviously has a giant audience without actually looking and going, oh, I see, shouting into the wind.
Joke's on them though, because every time they say it, they manifest it. They're manifesting it for us. Okay, shall we begin?
Our audience is bigger than our numbers. Yes.
Okay, Jamey Heath's deposition. I already can anticipate that I'm going to struggle to read this, because Jamey Heath's transcript of him speaking is weird. The guy he speaks with broken grammar. And I'm
broken sentences,
Yeah, I struggle to read when people don't speak with proper grammar, because, it's not edited, right?
You're basically reading Spock. No, Spock speaks with... Anyway, I'm speaking more
it's
like
basically
Klingons or something.
I'm Spock. And I'm struggling to read anybody who doesn't speak like Spock.
All right. This is Jamey Heath's deposition, and it's in no particular order in terms... There's like 15 or something documents related to it.
I put it in order.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he was deposed on October 8th of this year, and in Los Angeles. Okay, so they're saying that there's no California jurisdiction, but look, like they're in California. Okay. First, they're clarifying his name. His name is James Heath, but he's gone by Jamey his whole life. And also professionally for many years, he went by Jamey Jazz.
I had a friend named Jamey when we were kids.
Did he go by Jamey Jazz?
He didn't go, really, Jamey Jazz? Is that true?
It's Jamey Jazz, and he spells it for the stenographer, Jaz. Not even ZZ.
So it's Jamey J's. It's like Duck Prescott.
Like Duck... They call him Dak Prescott.
But his name is
the
Dakota.
Quarterback for the Cowboys, but his name is Dakota.
So it's Duck.
So if you shortened it to Duck, it would
Dakota.
have... Dakota.
You don't say Dakota.
So every time on the announcers are like, Dak Prescott, I'm like, that's not it.
No, it's Duck.
His name's Duck.
It's Dakota.
Duck Prescott.
I mean, Duck Prescott. Duck Prescott. Okay, yeah, so...
Jamey Jazz.
Jamey Jazz?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I had a friend, his name is Jamey. But when he grew up, he said... My name's not Jamey anymore. My name is James. And so he's James going forward. Just saying. I don't know if that means anything. I'm just
But I
pointing it
bet
out.
if you called him out in the, Union Station, everybody's milling around, and you're like, don't go, Jamey, he would turn around. He would know.
Well, because he'd be mad. He'd be like, James. And then he'd turn back around and walk away.
It'd be so romantic until he got corrected. Okay, so then there's a big redacted part. So I don't know what he asked Jamey then.
I have to give an obligatory fuck Dallas with all my heart and soul.
Oh, because you're
I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
We just talked about them. Fuck Dallas. Okay, moving on.
And Duck Prescott.
Oh, of course, Duck Prescott. He's very good though. But fuck
okay,
him.
So the first question that I can read is, because there's a big redacted section. It says, "Have you been deposed on any other occasions?" He says, "I have not." "But you've sat in on quite a few depositions, is that right?" He said, "I have." "Are there any depositions that have been taken in this case that you did not sit in on?" And Jamey Heath says, "Yes, several." "Do you recall which ones you did sit in on?" He said, "I can do my best." And the attorney says, "That's all I can ask." Jamey Heath answers, "Miss Lively, Jennifer Abel, and when I say the others, I was not present for all of them for the duration." Question.
So 2.
Yeah. "You were present for the full duration of Miss Lively's
I was
depositions?"
there for all the depositions.
Yeah, every one of them. I would be too. I'd be like, I'm going to make time out of my day to hear all the bullshit that you are telling these people.
Hundreds of hours.
Yeah, of course.
It was tough.
Question. "You were present for the full duration of Miss Lively's deposition?" And Jamey Heath says, "I was. Jennifer Abel, in and out one of the days. Melissa Nathan, in and out. I barely saw much of hers. Of course, Justin Baldoni's." Question. "And you were present for all of Justin Baldoni's deposition, correct?" He says, "Correct."
It's so interesting because I wasn't there for Artie Robs. He had to be there for Justin Baby.
Justin Baby. Right. As his emotional support.
Guys, can we take a time out? I think Justin needs a break. No, it's okay, Jamey. No, Justin. No. I'm here for you. We need a break. I can tell his lip does a thing. We've had enough.
"I brought you a juice packet. You get 1 per hour."
Justin sitting
juice pouch
in the waiting room.
Do you feel better?
Yeah. I'm ready. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're so mean.
Reading a book of adjectives.
We're so mean. Okay, are you done being mean so we can get back to the deposition?
Yes.
Jamey Heath says that he was present for Steve Sarowitz for the first 2 hours, and then I was not there. Portions of Isabella Ferrer, most of, well, not true, probably about half of Jenny Slate's, a quarter or so of Colleen Hoover. I was present for Ange Gianetti. He's clarifying, for the entire deposition.
I want some Ange Gianetti. Do we got some Ange Gianetti?
I don't think so.
That's some fucking...
I think it's all just been sealed.
That's some meat on the bone.
There's a lot of evidence that obviously we can't see. So I can see it on the docket, but it's like red, you know?
I want it.
We can't have it.
I want it.
Correct. The entire deposition of Ange Gianetti. I was in person for Danny Greenberg. Question. "So you were present for the entire deposition for that one?" He said, "Correct. You might have to help me because there's a lot of people." So the attorney is offering names. Warren Zavala, and he said he didn't see Warren's. Josh Greenstein, he said, I did not see Warren. Josh, portions of it, small portions. Katie Case, he says, I think maybe 10 minutes of that. Brianna Coslow, probably the same, a few minutes. Okay, the lawyer's asking,
Why would you show up for a few minutes? It was like, oh, this is fucking boring, and then leave? Like,
no, just to like intimidate them. A few times he goes like this. He's made you flinch.
You
and then he walks out.
You gonna testify? Better tell the truth. You can tell the truth?
And then he walks out. You flinched.
What? Nothing?
Loser.
Everything's cool. What are you worried about? Everything's cool.
Just to go in real quick and be like, loser. So stupid. Okay. Question. So having participated in all or part of these many depositions, you have a pretty good understanding of what the rules of the road are for depositions, right? He said, I believe I do. So the attorney says, I'm not going to repeat those for you here today, but I do want to ask you if you're taking any medication that will affect your testimony today. And then he asks about alcohol. And then he says, I've never had a drink of alcohol in his life.
Maybe he should.
He's asking.
Maybe that's the fucking problem.
I know.
Maybe he needs to get in.
Maybe you need to look alive there, buddy. Are you under the influence of any substance? And he clarifies coffee, which is just such a religious kid thing to say. You know? I don't think anybody who's
I loathe this
lived
man.
a little ever thinks of coffee as a substance. So the lawyer's like, do you think your coffee is going to affect your testimony? He said, no. Is there any reason that you can't give your best testimony here today? He said, there is not. When did you first meet Justin Baldoni? He says 20 years ago.
I bet you he's like, his heart just feels, hey, Cosmic Energy, before you go, we did the reviews today, so first hour is just reviews. All right, see ya. Miss you. Go ahead.
I recognize that what I'm reading is a repeat, but I thought that it would be important to get them all together.
Okay.
And I don't know because it was old unsealed evidence that I was reading from, and now this is new unsealed evidence this month. Okay?
Okay.
So that's why I'm sorry if these people have heard some of this before.
That's okay. Don't worry about that. No excuses. Just keep rolling.
In what context did you meet Justin Baldoni? Jamey Heath says, he was friends with mutual friends. I think he had just moved to Los Angeles or somewhere around that time. And so we knew of each other. I actually knew of him before that as well because my family knew his family. So I knew of him, but I hadn't met him. The lawyer's asking, were you familiar with each other through your church? He said, no, which is not a church, by the way, but just for clarification. But no, my grandmother knew his mom. The lawyer says, got it. And when you say it's not a church, you mean Baha'i. You don't refer to it as a church? And Jamey says, yeah, there's no clergy in the Baha'i faith. Next question. At some point, you and Mr. Baldoni became close, correct? He says, yes. When did that take place? Jamey Heath says, 15 years ago, about. Question. And what brought you from this relationship where you knew each other through his family relationship to become close friends? And Jamey Heath says, Justin was hosting in his home, what you would call it a gathering of sorts of different artists, people connected to the entertainment field. Not only the entertainment, but primarily who were talking about elevated concepts like how we can be better in the world and to talk about spiritual concepts no matter where you were from. What your spiritual background didn't matter. That wasn't the point. Do you see what I mean about how he talks? His grammar's wrong. What your spiritual background didn't matter. That wasn't the point. It was more just to find out what we all agreed upon and how do we unify in that.
She's probably doing things like what your spirit, like he's like thinking of two different sentences and comes out with, starts one and then finishes with
I don't think so because the stenographer is really good at putting hyphens and ellipses when people make spaces. It's weird. I don't get him. Jamey, he says, I saw him somewhere. He invited me to it. And he's clarifying that was about 15 years ago. Question. And then how did you become friends more closely from that experience? Jamey, he says, through that experience, we started spending more time. I admired him for his unique ability to inspire others to care about things they might have not thought about they cared about.
Wow.
And he's 15 years younger than I am, about 14. And I was impressed with his ability to inspire all age groups. This is so apparently this is the attorney is
they just crush on this guy.
I know.
They just
I know he's like a cult leader type persona, and they just haven't put him in the right space to just do that.
Dude just needs to go Jared Leto on this shit.
I know. If this was like ancient civilization, he'd have a following of people that they all dress in the same toga and they follow him around everywhere. Okay, so the attorney apparently is Miss Hudson.
I've never heard anybody get swooned over like this fucking guy. Can you stop? How could you not like Justin?
I know. He's a golden boy.
It's apparently a lot of people don't like him. I mean, you're not paying attention.
The attorney's Miss Hudson, and the next question is, so over the course of time, he became not just a close friend, but your best friend, right? And Jamey Heath says, one of my best friends for sure. Okay?
Yeah.
Now this skips to a few pages later.
Dear Justin.
Dear Justin.
I was just sitting here thinking about you like I do most days.
I know I wrote you 10 minutes ago, but I had a new thought and I wanted to share. Okay. This is cutting into one of his answers, so I don't know what the question was or what the rest of the answer is, but what I can read is Jamey Heath says, caliber, because you had kids in an apartment on a computer doing something, didn't maybe have the same integrity, and because of that, the landscape changed, and then as for many things, you pivot.
What?
I have no idea. The next question is, and you pivoted to Wayfair, and he said, I did.
Okay, so this was a previous thing that he ended up now. Okay, all right.
Yeah, sorry. That's what happens. We just get these little snippets of pages, and at the top of the page, I want to read it for everybody, but it's like doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
sometimes.
well, it does make sense in that he's talking about joining Wayfair. So.
Yes. Next question is, how did you, when did you first become employed by Wayfair? He said about 5 years ago. And how did you come to be employed there? I realized it's founded by your best friend, but how did you become an employee at your best friend's company? Jamey Heath says, as I said, Justin and I have been friends and we worked together a lot before I was at Entertainment. That's Wayfair Entertainment, I think is what he's just saying it in shorthand.
Yeah.
I'm at Wayfair Studios. He had Wayfair Entertainment, and I worked on a lot of projects that he did. The attorney is asking what kind of work. Jamey Heath says, did music, scored, and adjacently consulted with him on things that he was doing. And he thought, he then was about 5 years ago, was working through something. He asked for my consultation among some others. The next day he called and said, I need you to be a part of my company. And I said, my words were, fuck off, no thanks, jokingly. Jokingly, Miss Ezra, just so we're clear. Meaning like, I'm not interested in tending to your garden. I've got my own garden. So at first I was like, yeah. And I asked, doing what? He's like, your whole life has been an entertainment world. In the entertainment world, you know what we do. We work together. The way that you lead and operate and your understanding of things I feel is what we need in our company. So next question is, and what position did he offer you? Jamey Heath says, there was no particular position. This was he says, I just need you in it. I agreed that I would at some point take a look inside. Again, this was at a time when I was full-time spending on music and my own production company, and I was at a crossroad. Next question is, so you were kind of looking for something new and he was offering something new. And Jamey Heath says, kind of lined up. This was in 2020? Yes. And when was Wayfair founded to your understanding? He's asking for clarification. Wayfair Studios. She says, yes, 2019. Question. And if I use the term Wayfair, I'm referring to Wayfair Studios LLC, unless I say otherwise, okay? He says, you got it. So it was a fairly new company? He said, yes. Were there any employees when you joined? Jamey Heath says, yes. How many? I guess he's counting. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around 10 maybe, somewhere in that realm. Next question is, so when you were hired, what position were you hired into? Jamey Heath says, as I stated, there wasn't a particular position. In the creative world, it's just more come and bring your creativity, your observation, your consultation, and kind of like see where what that might look like. Next question. Well, at some point you became president though, right? And Jamey Heath says, there was a few titles before that, but yes. He's describing, he was interim COO for 3 months. And then after that...
Reminds me of Succession.
I know.
It's like fucking...
I know.
10 person's companies and they're like...
I went through this
COO
one time where I
CEO.
was hired, it was just like a retail job, but I was hired at an erotic boutique to just like work the register. And then like within 3 months, I got promoted to manager.
Congratulations.
And
You're the big mahuff.
I know. And I was like, there's other people working there and none of them cared because like, who gives a fuck? But I was like, oh, I don't want to like ruffle any feathers by like getting promoted over these other people's heads, and literally nobody cared. Nobody wanted that job. Is it funny?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jamey Heath said he was interim COO for 3 months. And then after that, he was co-COO. Okay.
It's Coco.
And he's asking who the
Koku, I guess.
Apparently the other COO that he was a co with is named Manu. And he spells it for the stenographer. And for some reason his last name is escaping me, he says, but I'm happy to give it to you when I recall it. So he was co-COO of Wayfair Studios with a man whose last name he doesn't even know. He can't remember.
Some fucking guy. What's the fuck?
Also got promoted super fast, I'm sure.
Super guy, whatever this guy, whatever. He's kind of a stepping stone.
He was co-COO with Manu for another 3 months. And then his next position was president. Okay. And then he said that he held that position, Jamey Heath says, until almost 2 years ago, or maybe a year and 8 months or so, when we brought on Tara Hanks and we gave her the title of president and I became CEO. So to be clear, all the times...
funny, like he talked about, on more than one occasion, he talked about how it wasn't like a big deal, like the names, whatever.
Yeah.
The names weren't a big...
Right.
You guys are like fucking obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's what he says here too. I'm sure that's where you got it from because I'm repeating all this. So to be clear, all the times I was with both titles, essentially the head of the company in that regard, they were just titles. All of these titles are ridiculous to me anyway. Yeah, of course they are because you didn't fucking earn them.
You guys are shuffling them like crazy. And
people are just naming you shit. And
did you order cards?
You're not even.
Don't order the cards yet. I just got promoted again. Hold it. You did? Shit.
Just like that, man.
Fuck, now I got 500 COO cards? No.
Of course it doesn't mean anything to him.
I could just make it look like an E. No. Okay, go ahead.
Just go on each one with a Sharpie. Okay. Question. You see yourself as the head of the company with respect to the day-to-day operations. And Jamey Heath says, day-to-day operations, we have an operations manager. So, question. Well, what do you mean by...
Just another title. I hate him.
There's a head of operations who actually does shit, but he doesn't. What do you mean head of the company then? And Jamey Heath says, I just mean the top. The person that ultimately signs off on daily operations would be one of them. Our deals and most of our creative, of course, not meaning to omit the chairman, but their job is different or their role is different.
They wave their hands. They go.
That's all they do.
They're like.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. This skips a few pages and where it picks up, we've got the next question. I didn't hear human resources in there. And Jamey Heath says, human resources. Thank you. Next question. So with respect to these positions, the VP of Marketing and Communications, that's Ashmi Dang. He says correct. The VP of Operations is Mitz Toskovitz. Correct. So that's who Mitz is. Yeah. VP of Operations. Okay. And then Brian Singer.
Somebody said that it's a language. It means juice.
Juice?
Yeah. They're
Mitz?
Mitz. Means juice.
I mean, either way, sounds cool.
I think so.
And then Brian Singer is the CFO. He says correct. Not that Brian Singer. A different Brian Singer. There's probably a gazillion Brian Singers in the world.
I would not want that name.
It's not that Brian Singer.
I just would not want that name.
No.
Not after the
not
one,
in Hollywood.
Not after the Browns. The Brian.
Yeah, the Brian Singer.
The Brian Singer.
Ruined that name for everybody else.
Yeah, you ruined that name for everybody.
Okay, next question. And
all the Brian Singers must be just. You had a responsibility.
Next question. And have these people, as I've described them, held these positions since at least 2023? He said yes. You mentioned Tara Hanks as the president. Andrew Kaloff, is he the president of production and development? Jamey Heath says correct. And he's also held that position since 2023? He said yes. John Logan Pearson, is he the head of physical production? And Jamey Heath says yes. Okay, and has he held that position since at least 2023? Yes, he has, but he stutters a little, so maybe he's a little unsure. But he says yes. Next question. And then for VP of Creative, is that Angela Cardon? He said yes. And she has held that position since 2023. And with respect to HR, is Cynthia Barnes Slater your head of HR? And she is. Next question. You know she describes herself online as retired. Is that not accurate? Jamey Heath says she retired she was head of HR of, I can't recall the company. It's like GMC or, a big corporation. She retired from that. And then she does private working HR for smaller companies. So she's in a consulting role, essentially. How long has she held that position with Wayfair? As he says, as long as I've been there. So is she physically present in California? He says there is. Sorry, he says she is. She doesn't live in Illinois. Jamey Heath says, not as far as I know, but yes, she lives in California unless something's changed. Does Wayfair have an office? He said yes. Does Miss Barnes Slater work in Wayfair's office as HR? He said not regularly. She works from home. Is there anyone in human resources other than her? And Jamey Heath says, I know Mitz assists her in the operations level. Outside of that, no. He says that she always worked at home. I'm trying to summarize this because I know that we've gone over this before. She does occasionally come into the office. Jamey Heath says she does not have a schedule, so I would not be able to put a number on it, how often she comes into the office. Yeah,
it's a trap question. It sucks because, let's see if he tries. Does he try to narrow him down?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's asked to give an estimate, and he said it would be a guess once a month. And who is Shakina Reese? He said
once a fucking month. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's guessing. So
he's guessing.
He's guessing. He can't even confidently say she's there once a month.
Shakina Reese is Jamey Heath's assistant. He said previous assistant. Okay, and AJ Marbury.
So they bought a name. They bought a name to put on their website.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe she runs HR from her house.
Right.
She works at home.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot of those corporate jobs that you don't have to come into the office for.
I'm all for it.
I mean, it would be fine. So here's the thing: is I'm sure she would do an excellent job if she was ever engaged by Justin Baldoni and Jamey Heath to actually make a report or conduct her HR work. I'm sure she'd be amazing at it. Mm-hmm. They probably felt like they covered their bases by hiring her, but they just didn't use her, and that's the controversy here.
Yeah.
Okay, next person they're asking about is AJ Marbury, and he says that was Justin's assistant. Next question: how long was Shakina Reese your assistant? Jamey Heath says there's a block of time that's gone, so I don't want to waste time thinking about it. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
You went like on an ayahuasca trip?
Black out? Yeah.
Were you in like the Andes on a walkabout?
The truth is, I don't really know my name. I've made all this up because I lost, I got stricken with amnesia. When did I join Wayfair? It was like a couple of days before that.
I know, we haven't heard the amnesia defense.
This woman says I'm her husband. She says these are my kids, and they kind of look like me. Don't you agree?
I have these birth videos on my phone. I don't know how they got there.
Yeah. That looks like, oh.
I was showing it to Blake Lively being like, can you help identify this woman? I don't know who it is.
Here I am, Jamey Heath.
Yeah, it's a good defense. He should try it.
The amnesia defense?
Yeah, it's better than the defense they got. Okay, so Jamey Heath says that he doesn't know how long Miss Reese was his assistant because there's a block of time that's gone, so I don't want to waste time thinking about it, but a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe 23, 24. And the attorney says 23, 24, and who is your current assistant? He said, I share now an assistant with Tara, who is, Isabel, and I can't recall her last name because it's a wonderful name that's hard to pronounce.
He shares an assistant?
Yes, with Tara Hanks. Next question. And Jerice, I don't know how to say this name, Jerice Blackman. Was she your assistant at some point? He says no. Was she someone else's assistant? And he's correcting her that Jerice is a male. And I'm probably butchering that name. My apologies to whoever this is. He works assisting Justin. Okay. So now it skips a few pages. Hopefully we're past this, identifying everybody.
Yep.
But I think it's useful because we're starting to see evidence and testimony and emails and stuff from these people, and I don't know who they are. Like Mitz compiled a timeline of all of the Blake Lively accusations and everything that was going on, all their arguing and the problems on set. And I didn't know who he was. But now I know he's a VP of operations.
Oh.
The more you know. Okay. Next few pages. This is page 49. It starts in the middle of an answer. He says, based on those sales, doesn't come to fruition. Like a market, so to speak, right? You can estimate, but you don't control a market. So based on those. The next question is, prior to joining Wayfair as an employee, had you produced any films? His answer is, as an on-the-ground producer, no. You said prior to it? And she said correct. Had you been on a film set before? He said many. The question is, in what capacity? So he says, Jamey Heath says, as I mentioned, I was a composer for projects throughout my life, so I would visit those without giving you a whole backstory.
A composer to the set?
I was a composer for projects throughout my life, so I would visit for those.
He would, okay, that's weird. He
said he'd visited many film sets before.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting him.
But
I'm just saying it's just like as a composer, be like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm the composer. Oh, because we're just shooting this right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a violin or something you want to get in on this? It's not a Dogma movie. That's weird.
So I would visit for those without giving you a whole backstory. My family was also involved in the entertainment industry, so my childhood and life was only around entertainment, music side and film side. Movie sets and television sets were a normal part. Question. So you said that you had not been a producer on a film, though, before Wayfair, and what was the term that you used? He said on-the-ground producer. He said, yeah, but that was... And she cuts off. Let me see. I might have to take care of the dog in a little bit.
So he got to, well, there was some noise that might have, but if you do, you do.
Yeah. I'm going to read this one page and then I'm going to step out. Okay.
Okay.
Because that's where it ends and there's a break between the questioning. Okay. So the next question is, what does that mean to you? What's the difference between on the ground producer and whatever you did? And he's asking before it ends with us, but that's obvious that that's the frame. The question is, prior to joining Wayfarer, you said you were not an on the ground producer. What did you mean by that? Because you asked, Jamey Heath says, because you asked me prior, I thought I heard you. What I interpreted your question to be is at Wayfarer. There are other films in Wayfarer that I have producer credit or executive producer credit. And I was just being clear about that. But prior to Wayfarer, correct. So the question is, so prior to Wayfarer, you were a producer with respect to your music work. Is that right? And he said, correct. So you had not been a film or TV producer prior to Wayfarer, correct? He said, correct. So he got hired by Wayfarer, became a producer for the first time.
He basically pulled a Dale Wheatley. Like I get into situations, or at least I used to. I get into situations and they'd be like, "Hey Dale, you're just gonna be like a whatever. We don't know what you are." And I'd be like, "Okay." And then like 3 weeks later, I'm running the place.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step out.
Yes,
is it too late for this?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna be about 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's cool. Angela will be right back.
It's for the dog. She's fussing. I don't want to keep her waiting.
Let me hit the chat. The guy's running a company and he's guessing on how often the head of the department actually, Hanada says, this is Hanada's chat if you guys haven't seen it, but basically I just think it shows that they didn't take HR seriously. I don't think they took it as an expense. They didn't take it seriously as a functioning entity in their company. They didn't take it seriously. I think they had this again. I mean, it just, I feel like the testimony, proves again and again that these guys had this idea that they were going to have, their version of Hollywood go down. And you know what? I think it's everybody's goal. My experience in LA, people would be like, wanting to redefine like, oh, nothing's like my set. Nothing's like, my production office. Nothing's like, and, they want to create these cultures and, these creative, I don't know, man, Hollywood can be fucking weird, and the creative space can be weird at times. And weird, I guess, isn't like the best description of it. But anyway, I don't think they took it HR seriously. And so there you go. Tanner says, just saw that David is not the one that is going to be arrested for the crime. It came from TMZ. No, it's not David. It's a female. They said it's a woman. I don't know. That shit's getting spicy, man. I don't know what's up with that, but grand jury, man, we'll see if there comes some charges. My guess, though, that if charges go down in that David case, that there's just going to be like a, I doubt they'll go to trial. In my intuition says, which is worthless practically, says that they're going to end up, pleading, I guess. Let me see. So Justin and Jamey are both Nepo babies. Yeah. I got to tell you, man, I wish I was a Nepo baby. I ain't going to lie. Nepo babies, man. There are some good Nepo babies out there. Just people who like kill it. Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas killed it. Kirk Douglas's kid. There's Nepo babies where it works, man. I used to have a thing about Nepo babies where I'd be like, kind of agitated by it. But I was like, then I asked myself, well, what the fuck would I do? What would I do? If my dad was like, or my mom was running a studio or was a big director. Martin Scorsese's daughter just directed something. And she's just like, yeah, of course I got this job because my dad is Martin Scorsese. And, what the fuck else is she going to do? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like if my dad was a big shot and I had a chance to, leverage that in some way for my own fucking benefit, why the hell not? This world, man, you need advantages. I live without any advantages. I have like talent and I have some, I have Angela and I have like, I'm not trying to sound like an ingrate, but finding, I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling about it, but former assistant, if you bothered to read, was in the relevant period. Also, no objections to the questioning. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. The HR is one of the most important departments and it was grossly overlooked at Wayfair. I just don't understand how. Well, first of all, the first thing that I would have done if I saw things going south right away is reconsider. Like why? What's interesting is like at no point have I heard yet that this person who is whatever, some giant in the HR industry that they had hired, that why wasn't she called in? Why wasn't she called in? Like they did no investigations. They did no, filed no reports. So they had this so-called HR department. They didn't get it involved when they had an HR issue. What is that? How does that like make sense to anybody? Ad hominem. All right, let me go. Where are we? Who are you to analyze the cross relevance? It's Gottlieb's theory of the case. Oh, I don't know. You guys are arguing? I just jump into your arguments and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Angela's walking dog. She'll be back soon. See how empty I am without her? What will I do? What the actual fuck? Wait. Okay, why should he spend time remembering the dates of employment of his former assistants? Not relevant. Well, they just try to do things like establish facts and timelines and these kinds of things. And I don't know why it's in this document. I'll say that. While the former assistant might be relevant depending on the work period. So actually it's saying a former assistant not relevant, current assistant relevant. That's not necessarily true. Also, some people stay in touch with their assistants. So knowing who they are might open up a subpoena path during discovery. So I think that the question first, from an establishing perspective, is a relevant question. I can understand why you don't think it's relevant, but it's lawyering. It's not whether or not it's going to make it to the jury, but it might. Just remember that depositions are probably the most important form of discovery, or certainly equally important. Hanada, I guess you could weigh in on that, but depositions are huge, and they're about discovery. So it's not about just about getting testimony. It's about opening up lines of questioning and exposing, hopefully, for the side that's doing the questioning, opportunities to learn more about the case and who might also be involved. Did you hear that noise that the air passing through my fucking mouth just made? It sounded like some kind of bird. Oh, let me see. What do we got here? Their lack of HR and infrastructure is problematic. Yeah, I mean, their lack of HR, says Deanna, their lack of HR and infrastructure is problematic. And I would say that that's true. But it didn't have to be. The thing about these kinds of situations, especially the level of HR issues that they had, they were all very solvable problems, and none of the offenses were egregious. They're inappropriate. They need to change. But what they didn't have a leader who could truly objectively look at the situation and see the trouble that was arising for both the company and for the production, and then instead, of course, end up in a situation where the wound festers into something sepsis. Welcome back. Angela's back. She's saving the show once again. But you know what I'm saying?
I took my cue. You said festering wound, and I was like, ta-da!
I'm in. Festering wound.
I'm here. Shall we?
Yeah. I got into some of the...
Anybody fighting with you?
Chat. I think I sucked. Just
Is everybody
now.
being nice?
It was kind of terrible. Everyone seems very nice.
You can't be terrible because you're beloved.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If you say so, or so, oh man, my mouth, I'm broken. Go ahead, go.
Okay, the next question.
I love seeing Tanner here. It's really great to see him again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, did you see yourself as having any employees who reported to you as producer? He said, yeah. Who reported to you? Jamey Heath says, different department heads would report to the producers, not necessarily Jamey. Is he saying his name in the third person? Did he just third person his name?
Oh my God.
Because this is the same document, so unless they screwed up.
So say, let's just read it again.
Different department heads would report to the producers, not necessarily Jamey, but using the term and title producer department heads.
He said Jamey? Is he an alien?
The entity known as Jamey.
Is he being channeled into the body
Yeah,
from like some kind of hovering?
Probably. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like Scientology. But hi, who knows? Okay. And do you agree that it's important for any film project to have a process in place for reporting concerns about the workplace? And Jamey says, I do. And that there be protocols in place to ensure a safe workplace? And Jamey Heath says, I do. And then the next question, it gets cut off. We don't get to hear his answer, but the question is, do you think it's important for the cast and crew to be trained in the appropriate workplace behavior? Okay, so this picks up 10 pages later. How often do you record phone calls? He said, in my entire life, I've recorded maybe 3, maybe 4 in the same period of time. The question is, in your entire life, you've recorded 3 or 4 phone calls? He says, correct. And when were those phone calls recorded? Jamey Heath says, sometime in I don't know the months, but in 2024 of, I believe, around August, maybe July, somewhere in there. August and July, obviously, was when they were hiring Crisis PR in advance of their premiere. Okay, so that was when he recalls recording phone calls. Question, and were all of those phone calls that you recorded related in some way to It Ends With Us? And he said, in some way, yes. Again, we don't hear the answer to this question, but the next question is, Sunday we received a batch of 4 phone call recordings, starting under your label, starting with Heath. So that's just their catalog system. Are those the calls that you recorded? So we know that they have the recordings of those calls. They have 4 call recordings that he's turned over as evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it skips again. Several pages later. Is it weird that happens? I don't know how to read it better.
Yeah, no, that's good. Your reading's so good.
Okay, so it's we get the middle of his answer, so I don't know what the context is, but he says, represent and speak on our behalf, and based on some previous conversations with her, I was losing confidence, and I knew this was a testy situation, and I wanted to document anything she might say to me. Question, did you tell Miss Jones that you were recording the call? Stephanie Jones. He said, I did not. Why not? Jamey Heath says, simply because I wanted to have documented where she was or her state of mind was, and I didn't allow her to know. Question, you didn't want her to know? Jamey Heath says, I didn't deliberately think I didn't want her to know. I just didn't announce it.
No, you obviously didn't want her to know.
Yeah, he said, I didn't allow her to know. So that was a choice. Question, were you planning to use it against her in some way? He said, no. And you said that you couldn't remember if there was a third person listening into the call. And Jamey, he says, I just don't recall. But if there was, then I'm not saying that there wasn't. I just don't recall it. Okay. About 10 pages later, it picks up again. So we must be listening to this must be evidence from Jones Works.
Yeah.
Lawsuit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, in the middle of an answer, it picks up as he says, would be the call that you're mentioning. You're now identifying the names. I'm just not sure all of that is accurate. So the next question is, are there any of those 3 that you recall with certainty were on that call? He said, I'm not certain. I'm not certain who was on that marketing call. Question. But if they're identifying themselves as Danny, Gloria, and Josh on the call, and Jamey Heath says, yeah, I would be that. Question. Let me just finish my question. Okay, he says, sure. The question is...
STFU, buddy.
Yeah. If they're identifying themselves as Danny, Gloria, and Josh on the call, then it would be safe to say that those are the people that were on that call. Is that right? He said, yes. And you were located... And where were you located when that call was recorded? He's asking for city and state. And Jamey Heath says, yeah, I believe I would have been in Los Angeles. Haha. California is a 2-party consent state for recordings, for recording phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe I would have been in Los Angeles. And the attorney is asking, and where in Los Angeles? In your office or home? He said, I don't remember. Do you remember where the other participants in the call were located? He said, I don't. I don't know if they were working remotely or out of their offices. I don't. Next question. And is it your understanding that Danny Magan, Gloria Hahn, and Josh Greenstein worked in Los Angeles also? He said it is. So they're both all of them are in California.
Wouldn't matter, right? Because if one of them are in California, then the
state with the stricter rules prevail.
Yeah.
Next question. And why did you record that call? Jamey Heath says, we were at a point where we were discussing and being told that we were not allowed to either go to the premiere or if there was, what that would look like separately. We were trying to navigate through all of that and all that led up to that. We were trying to navigate through all of that and all that led up to that. And I did not know who to trust at this point, and I was concerned.
Sounds like an episode of Survivor.
Yeah. Question, what was the point of recording the call? Jamey Heath said, so I could listen, reflect back to it possibly. A lot is said, and I wanted to have some sort of memory of it to document it. Question, did you tell any of the participants in the call that you were recording them? He said, I did not. And why not? I didn't consciously think of why not. I just didn't. Next question is, well, if you
were... So you're unconsciously devious.
Yeah, if you were just using it as a record, couldn't you have said, I would like to record this call to keep a record? Jamey Heath says, I could have. Next question is, were you intending to use the call against the participants in some way? He said, no. Who, if anyone, did you share that call with? And this gets cut off, but what we can read is his answer that says, other than my lawyers, I don't believe.
So it has to do with who he was going to share it with.
Because it's a negative response. Okay. This question gets cut off, but what we can see of this next question is, whose phone would you have borrowed for the Stephanie Jones call?
Before you answer that, Dimebeth said that Survivor is on right now. You are not allowed to speak any spoilers. We are very serious Survivor watchers.
If you tell us any spoilers of the Survivor show, that is an illegal activity.
It's an illegal activity.
And you will get 1,000 years in prison instantly. No due process. Just throw you straight into the jail.
Yeah.
Just...
Others have gotten it worse.
You get that treatment where they like pick you up by the belt loops, like by the strap and the back of your pants. Yeah. And then you get a kick in the ass.
Oh.
No, they just pick you like in the cartoons.
Yeah.
It's the cartoon treatment. You don't know this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That's the spoiler punishment.
Dimebeth is a big Survivor fan. I love that show. Look, I'm not, I won't get into it. I think like the new era is
not as fun.
No way. 39 days is what it should be. And this is kind of,
you want them to starve.
It's like
nearly to death.
It's not even that, because they actually got rice in those days.
You sound like a tyrant. I mean, because they got rice, Hey
man, you gotta play hard. Outwit, outlast.
Okay. Is this a stopping point? Is this because I don't think I can do overtime today. I have chores I have to take care of.
Yeah, that's cool. We can stop today and we can. You want to do the chat for a few minutes?
I'm sorry that this Jamey Heath reading was super boring.
Yeah.
But they're just like establishing a bunch of stuff, and I feel like just in case there's anybody that can't read this stuff on their own, but they want to be informed, I kind of want to cover everything.
No, it's worth it to read it.
So I'm not just giving you guys the highlights,
Yeah, this was like not the most fun beginning to the deposition. We only got in for an hour. So we didn't, because we did our reviews today.
I think it was less than an hour, but yeah.
Exactly. My point
I'll do a better job with the dog.
You're just helping make my point, which is that we didn't have, we didn't get really into it yet. So tomorrow we'll just do the whole show.
Yeah, unless something awesome happens.
Jamey Heath, unless something drops. About. Yeah, there's, well, I'll tell you. Let me see. Tomorrow's the 11th. Let me tell you what's up. Why don't you do the chat while I find out?
Yeah. What's happening on the 11th?
Sorry?
You've got like your crystal ball. You can tell what's going to happen tomorrow.
No, I'm going to go look at what's on the schedule.
Shannon O says that Heroes versus Villains was the best season.
For which?
For Survivor. That one was cute.
Oh, is that like, which one was that? Was it with like Russell and that one? That 50 is going to be like a bunch of the old schools. And
Bing Bop Boom is here with us.
Bing Bop Boom, what's up, dude?
Is saying that Claire Ayub recorded her call with Steve Sarowitz. She's on Blake's side, I guess, since she provided it to her.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that recorded phone call is that Claire Ayub recorded both sides of the phone call, but she was calling from a one-party consent state. And I believe that Steve Sarowitz was calling from a one-party consent state. So there isn't any, you don't actually have to ask the person on the other line when you're both in a one-party consent state. But if one person on the call is from a two-party consent state, then you have to notify them they're being recorded.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta go to, I thought I saved it. By the way, some people are maybe wanting to make a big deal out of Justin Baldoni not reading the complaint that he filed, his $400 million complaint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's so unusual.
That he didn't read the article?
No, the complaint.
Oh,
the New York Times article is bizarre.
He said that he didn't read the New York Times article.
That was
the basis for his litigation.
I told you, we talked about that.
Weird.
I think that's anxiety.
Yeah, Hanada said that Claire Ayub was calling from a one party and Sarowitz was traveling. He was traveling. I don't know where he was at the time. It was like, okay, so they had offices. This was in August, right? So their premiere was in New York that same month. So they were either in New York or New Jersey, where they had Wayfarer Studios had offices for their production. But Steve Sarowitz lives in Illinois. And I thought that in the phone call, he made reference to some town, like his town, something was happening that he was going to go do. I can't remember. So that's why I thought he was in Illinois. But I believe you, Hanada, if you say he was traveling, because I don't know for sure.
So today's the 10th. Is that correct? Yeah, so today's the 10th. So upcoming, we have the 12th, Wayfarer's reply to lively response in opposition to the motion for judgment on the pleadings. And that's, there's a lot due on the 12th, actually. Wayfarer and Abel's replies to opposition of motion for summary judgment. Wayfarer's reply to Harco Insurance. And it's the last day to depose of experts.
Juicy.
Huh?
That's juicy. Oh, Hanada said that what's most likely, and I agree with this. This seems like it's more likely the situation that Baldoni definitely did read that article, but he simply did not want to answer questions about it. So he was feigning ignorance about what was in that article so that he could escape cross-examination.
Possibly. I think he tried to tell the truth.
You think? You think he really didn't? That he just got the rundown from his lawyers?
I think he didn't. I think he suffers from anxiety. I think he suffers from anxiety.
It's clever, though, because if he's like, yeah, my lawyers told me about that article, well, that's protected conversation, right? So because it's obviously involving what would later become a lawsuit. So he's saying under oath and the deposition, he can't be asked about the conversations he had with his lawyers about that article. And if he's saying that he didn't read it independently himself, then she can't ask him any questions about how he felt or what he thought or any of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think it's a clever evasion, and it only makes sense as an evasion because I don't think for a fucking second that he didn't read.
I do.
The guy's a Virgo rising with a bunch of planets in his third house in astrology, right? Yeah. He's definitely going to read and consume all the information. Definitely. He might not be good at using it and comprehending it, but he's definitely going to read it.
I just feel like the dude tried to tell, tried his best to tell the truth. And so that's why I think that he didn't read it, and why I also think he didn't read the complaint. And it wouldn't be so absurd for him to not read the complaint. I would read the complaint. I read mine, but
he also says he didn't read the complaint.
Yeah.
Weird.
He didn't read Brian Friedman's complaint, $400 million lawsuit that he filed.
His own complaint. He didn't read it.
That is a little weird because I literally helped architect ours.
Well, and also you wouldn't want to be misrepresented. You're the one who experienced all this stuff. That's remarkable. So how can he ensure that he's getting
lazy?
How can he ensure that he's getting good representation if he's not involved?
How can he be sure anyone's telling the truth on his behalf?
That's right.
Or in terms of people opposing it. It's very strange, very weird thing to do.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
We have to read these spoliations. So the other thing, maybe what we'll do tomorrow. Wow, we got to read these spoliations, dude. They're fucking juicy. And let me look at this.
I kind of wish I had curated the highlights for Jamey Heath today because I know there's so much to go through with his.
There's only 13 pages of the spoliations on one spoliation. And let me see this other one.
Yeah, that just happened today, right?
No, these were last week. And this one is only 15 pages, and that's including the cover and contents and all that shit. So We're talking like maybe 20 pages of work. So maybe tomorrow we'll open with the spoliations and then go back into Heath. What do you think?
Yeah,
and we can
I
just
don't mind.
knock both of them out of the way.
I will just read and read and read. I don't mind.
All right, so tomorrow we're going to open with the spoliations.
I also think that maybe tomorrow, I don't know if we have time, it'll be a jam-packed show. But don't you want to show people that
the Brian Friedman? Yeah, we'll do that.
Man on the Street interview?
We should, yeah.
It's absurd.
It's fucking hilarious. I got to line it up.
He's such a liar.
We'll do that tomorrow. And we'll also finish, maybe like tomorrow during the day, you can like weed through and try to find, the juicy packs or, things you at least want to avoid in Heath's depot.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like it's all been curated for us because all of what we've been given as unsealed evidence is relevant to Stephanie Jones's and Blake Lively's arguments against Wayfair's motion to dismiss. Motion for summary judgment. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right. You want to call it a day?
Hanada said spoliations is more interesting than Heath.
Spoliations are definitely very interesting. So we'll read those tomorrow to start. I think we can find, gems in this Heath testimony.
I think so too.
Yeah. They didn't take his testimony for nothing. Mm-hmm. And he's a key player in it. We haven't gotten to
he was deposed for 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff, about like him explaining himself. We've heard some of it. We heard some of his outside the trailer stuff when he had, whatever he had in tow there. He had like 3 people in tow.
Right.
Ange Giannotti and fucking others. And they all went to Blake's trailer. So,
see, it's so weird because like you're refreshing my memory. Like we read so much of it. So how should we proceed with this? Like, do we record it all again so it's in one spot?
Yeah, well, this way, because I'm making these playlists and we can put these out and then I'll chapter them and then we can have access to it from now.
Yeah, that's true. If I'm like rereading stuff, it's just like 5 or 10 minutes. That's true.
We'll just rip through it, right? We have a good time. These guys, like, they know how to light up the chat.
I know you always make me laugh. You have the funny jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I'll throw in a little here and there to try to like add a little seasoning, if you will, as you say. Seasoning, as you say. All right, let's hope Paramount doesn't buy Warner Brothers. We'll talk about that. We have so many things that we don't get to talk about. We're going to go, but before we do, I just want you to know these stories are still on hold, on tap, and that is Quentin fucking Tarantino and the bullshit he said on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast. Definitely want to talk about that nonsense.
Yes, I do.
And it's just like, it's amazing how Quentin Tarantino's like real personality seems to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like all respect for his movies or whatever, but that guy's a bona fide fucking dick.
Yep.
And I think that's fairly apparent. He treats people like trash. He's got himself so high up. I met him once, and I met Wayne Gretzky also when I was a kid. I was a 12-year-old kid. I met Wayne Gretzky when he was in his peak. He was winning Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers, And this motherfucker treated me so shitty. Like, I'd met so many hockey teams in that year because my dad was the transportation for the team between the hotel and the arena and the airport. Mm-hmm. So he took me on. I met like, I don't know, half a dozen NHL teams, the whole teams. I got treated like royalty by almost every single one of them. Like,
as a little
they
boy.
love kids, they're fucking athletes. We're their big market, So Boston Bruins, man, they put me on the bench during the game. I mean, I had some life-changing shit. Wayne Gretzky treated me like a dick. Treated me like an asshole. He treated me like an annoyance. I was so disappointed. Marc Messier, with whom he played, was so fucking good to me, bro. He made me feel better because I was devastated because this was the best player in hockey.
How'd you start talking about these hockey players?
Well,
where did you segue from?
Well, what I'm talking about is dicks. People being dicks, right?
Oh, yeah. Tarantino being a dick.
And Tarantino is that guy. He's like, he reminded me of Wayne Gretzky when I met him.
Yeah, you can appreciate his
work. I was immediately reminded of my meeting at 12 years old with Wayne fucking Gretzky 13 years prior. I was like, wow, you're a really tall fucking jerk off. So Quentin Tarantino, man, whatever. I mean, I don't hate the guy because I don't know the guy, but man, the cover of the book doesn't look good. That's all I got to say about that.
Tanner said my chiropractor was the team chiropractor for the Boston Bruins for 5 years.
No way. Well, that was like when I grew up. When I was growing up, I fell in love with Bobby Orr, and I just loved the big B, and I just loved the emblem. So it was at that age where I was like, oh, I like that color, And so I just went with that. And so I was a Boston Bruins fan. It didn't last too long, but it lasted all the way up until I actually met the whole team and got my picture with like absolute legend Ray Bork. I sat next to Jerry Cheevers. I was on the bench when Terry O'Reilly, who's a really scrappy dude back in the 90s, or 80s, I should say, he just started punching a guy right at like in the game, dude. Winnipeg Jet. He just boom, boom, boom. He starts punching.
I'm sorry, but isn't this a very common thing that happens?
I couldn't believe it though, because like I was like, I'm a 12-year-old kid. I'm sitting on the bench during the game. I was on the fucking news. They're like, who's that? And fucking bop, bop, bop. This kid started, and that was by the team put me on the bench, by the way. So Terry O'Reilly starts punching a Winnipeg Jet. You know, the scrap goes down or whatever. I get back on the bus to go back to the hotel with the team. It was a 4-4 tie. They didn't win. It's as good as a win because they get a point, so they're gonna go party. Terry O'Reilly gets on the bus. He's got himself a big old fucking black eye. And he sits next to me. And I look at him and I said, why'd you do it? Why'd you punch him? And he said, you know, kid, sometimes a man looks at a man the wrong way. That's all he said.
And you're like, oh.
I'm like, oh. And you know what's the funny thing about that? Several years later, I was at a party with one of my best friends who was a hockey player who had a shot at the bigs but didn't make it, right? And we were at a bar. We're drinking like crazy. We're walking out of the bar, right? And he's behind me. And I'm walking ahead of him. And all of a sudden, whoa, fuck, I just hear all this commotion. I turn around and Roger, my buddy, Roger Lavoie, handlebar mustache, he jumps over a fucking table. Whack, whack, whack. All this fucking fighting breaks out. We back out. I get my ass kicked because I got to protect my buddy. So we get beat the fuck up. And I'm like, Roger, what the fuck happened, man? And
Why'd you do it?
This fucking guy looked at me the wrong way, buddy.
It's fucking hockey players,
fucking
dude.
hockey players,
He's
bro.
got like the hockey player
So
disease.
if you know a hockey player, just fucking tame them eyes, bro. Just look away. Just be like, when they talk to you, just look away. You're like, hey, why won't you look at me? There's a reason. I'm not going to tell you, but there's a reason.
Self-defense.
You guys are so lovely and incredible, and I hope that tonight wasn't, I mean, last night's show was just so banging. This one was a little slower. They come and they go. Hopefully tomorrow will be a banger again. We're going to bring you, like I said, the spoliations. We're going to bring you Heath's deposition, and of course, anything that's like a big and pressing, like if they arrest David.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some shit's going down in that grand jury. We'll see what's happening. Good to see everybody. And thank you for coming by. We will see you again tomorrow. Thank you for everything tonight.